Hey guys, this is Coach Nate McBride with the Blade Fit Academy, and I'm sending a quick video your way. I haven't been able to do a proper video, so I just wanted to show you this really quick. So quickly, children back in the medieval ages, okay? I'm talking from, well, let's just say from the 11th century to say 16th century. What was it like for kids growing up versus what is it like for kids growing up today? And we all know inherently when I say something like that, we know that there's differences. Kids today are not active, at least in Western societies and affluent societies. Kids today are not active as they used to be in those days. You could expect in medieval times, very young children were outside most of the time. Mama was busy, Papa was busy. They had a lot of siblings in those days, and the little kids, what do little kids want to do? They want to chase their older kids, the older siblings, right? Especially cousins, whatnot. You know, in those times they were tight-knit. Anyway, what am I getting at? When we are teaching martial arts, specifically sword martial arts, but any martial art, when we're teaching them, the concern is, do today's students have the physiological architecture that is needed and necessary to show them these techniques? And I gotta say that life in those days was a lot more active. They had lots of other problems, and believe me, I'd rather live in the modern day than back then. But the fact of the matter is kids walked an awful lot. They had chores that they had to do. They had a lot of physical chores that they had to do. Sometimes it was too much. But oftentimes it was just right. So if you think about activities, and it's difficult to pin down scientifically what they used to do, because children in their world historically was never thought of as important. It was just kids did what kids did. And unfortunately, whenever you look and try and do research, it's very thin on what kids used to do. But we have some clues, and kids are really quite the same wherever you go in time and place, except for we live in this very strange period of time where kids are sitting in front of glowing screens, sitting down inside, air conditioned, told exactly what to do, and never color outside those lines. They never get to think for themselves. They have activities pushed right in front of their faces, and they're spoon-fed whatever that is. Guys, that's just wrong. I think I was the last generation that grew up not that way, and half of my generation was raised that way, and it's just plain wrong. But that's a digression. The point of it is that medieval kids really had an excellent foundation of activity. The joints, if they were otherwise healthy, their joints were quite robust and healthy by comparison to our kids today. And so the elite warrior class children, 10, 11, 12 years old, when they started learning the sword arts, they already have a lifetime of walking several miles a day, drawing water, bringing water from the source to the home. That, water's heavy. They have helped, put seeds in the ground, following those who are plowing. They're putting the seeds in. They are doing light chores with the beasts of burden. They're helping to maintain these animals. They're on their feet a lot. They're outside. They're playing. What do kids like to do? They like to wrestle. They pick up sticks. They like to stick fight. They climb trees. Kids love to climb trees. They were doing that an awful lot, especially in heavily forested areas in these villages. They would scavenge, hide and seek. Those kinds of games they love. One of the oldest games that we know of, the game, it translates to, what's the name of it? It's capture the flag, basically, but they used to call it something else. They called it freed the prisoners, and that's what it translates to. It's one of the very few games that was outlined in, I believe the subject was studied in the 19th century. But in that literature, it talked about one of the games that they used to do early on, and that's what they called it. So a lot of running, so a lot of things, guys. These are all things that our kids don't do. They play video games. They play video games and they look at TikTok. And I'm not blowing away TikTok or nothing, but that's what they used to do. And that's what our kids do today. So when they come into my class, they want to learn how to sword fight because it's really, really fun. This is like, oh, it's a dream come true. So they get there, and a lot of them get really frustrated very quickly because they realize that they just don't have the strength to do simple things. So our task is to help them in a fun way gain that physical activity that they need in order to do the thing they really want to do, which is sword fight. So PT for kids is an interesting thing. So in a future video, when I'm not so rambly, I'm going to share with you guys some techniques and concepts that we use in our club to help modern day kids get ready for their sword fighting experience. Guys, all the kids want to do this. It's a changing world, and I really believe that Western martial arts catering to kids is going to be super beneficial and super huge for the overall sword fighting community. So stay tuned for that, guys. Stay tuned for more of that. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this concept. What do you think about kids in the Middle Ages, what they used to do versus what kids do today, and how that affects their sinews, their ligaments, their joints, their muscle mass? How is that affected? And how different do you think kids today are from those days? I'm talking from the 11th century to say like 16th century, but even on to 17th, 18th, even 19th century. How are kids today different from what kids used to do? Comments below, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this and any ideas on PT, physical training, that kids today would think is play. Let's figure this out together. Anyhow, slay your demons, guys. I'll catch you next time. This is awesome.